everybody. Welcome to the Urban Hermit Podcast. Cameron Jones here with my host,
Jordan Jones. Welcome back to our weekly wellness check. How you doing, Cameron? You gonna make it?
I mean, better because we're kind of over our 40 days of rain and night that we've been going through. It's finally been sunshine the last few days, but there is a downside to this. Our grass is real long right now. I've been busy, so now we're kind of the trashy house on the street with the real shag carpet lawn.
Well, I'm looking for new places to live, and I'm just looking for not the trashy street. One house is fine, but I don't know what the number is. But yeah, move to the country. Move to the country. That way you can just be the trashy person in the middle of nowhere.
Well, and there's a whole lot of lawn to mow there. Here, to make things more aggravating, there are 3 lawnmowers in my garage, and I can't get a single one of them to start.
Do they have gas? Do they have
oil?
So
like
I don't know.
One for sure is like just old and like just needs thrown out. That thing probably hasn't started in years. The other one, I did get it to turn over, and it will stay on for like a couple seconds, and it putters out. So I got stretches of the backyard, but the front looks trashy. The back that you can't see is a little cleaner. And then there's a brand new lawnmower that my father-in-law bought last year. So I can't get the damn thing to turn over.
Is it a pull start?
Yeah, it's all gas pull starts. It's really, I've done a lot of like home projects with Nicole, just kind of renovating the house over the past few months. But wow, did I just like get my man card stripped away by just having a real hard time. I've been trying for like 2 days now to get one of 3 lawnmowers to start. And I know there's problems if you leave gas in it for like a year, it can congeal and the gas goes bad. I know there's I've tried a lot of fixes.
So I'll tell you where I'm coming from, because I'm having to think about this now. We're going to move probably to the suburbs or maybe even back home, but away from the city, right? And we grew up mowing the lawn, right? And I know how to deal with lawnmowers, but I'm terrified now to being like, uh-oh, it's not working. And I'll put my hand down there just out of stupidity and like a just blindness. And it'll be like, there it is, a Homer Simpson moment.
I mean, like, so many things would have to go wrong for that to happen. I mean, the handle, but like, why would you ever go towards it when it was still on?
Cameron,
like,
I don't know why.
That's why the safety guard of like the bar is there for when you let go and it stops.
I am actually getting to the point where how much does it cost to have somebody mow your lawn? Can't be that much.
Not that much. Funny enough, so like 2 houses ago when the band moved to the suburbs and for the first time out of the city, we had like a pretty substantial backyard and like front yard, but we didn't have a lawnmower, and we moved there in fall, so we didn't have to worry about it until the spring. And then same problem. All of a sudden we had like a prairie in our backyard, and we had this service that came by. I can't remember how much it was. Let's say like $40-$60. I don't know. It was something like that for like, let's say every 2 to 3 weeks. But we were rocking like every like month being like, hey, it's real bad again, we need you to come over. And finally, I think we only did it like 4 times before the service was like, hey, we're not going to come to your house unless you call us more frequently, because it takes us like
double the time.
It takes us like 3 times as long to do your house because we have to do like multiple passes to get the grass down. So then we were finally like, we'll buy our own lawnmower.
I do know. I mean, I think you can probably get a shitty lawnmower for a situation like that you need.
Right. And like, they aren't that expensive. Like, I can find them for around $100. Here's the issue is my father-in-law just bought a brand new lawnmower. It's sitting there. Like, the problem is something with me. It's probably not mostly the lawnmower. I'm sure there's something I could do to fix this, but wow, have I felt like an asshole for the past like 3 days.
Well, there's no advice that I'll be able to give, but keep tugging on that pull string, I guess.
Sure have.
Don't put your hand down there, no matter how much you think. Maybe if I just don't do it. I know this. One thing I am definitely going to buy when I own a home, I'm getting a snowblower. That's all there is to it.
We do have a very nice new snowblower that I've yet to use, and I'm also not looking forward to not being able to use that when the time comes that I have to.
And I'm also on the same boat, terrified to lose my hand.
That
one you might want to jiggle.
That one I don't know about. Like, I've never used one before. I don't know the safety guards on that. From what I was actually dicking around with it yesterday, just moving it around in the garage, and it doesn't seem like it has that safety guard of like, if you let go, it stops.
No, it seems like it's just all in the front. It's like Willie at the end of that Halloween special. It's just a spinning shit,
Yeah, so that one actually, that's a legitimate fear more so that I have. Now, also, we have a small yard right now, so I don't need one. But going from the riding lawnmower back, like growing up in the country, it does suck kind of just because lawnmowers
I do want to just say we didn't have a riding lawnmower until I was like sophomore.
Oh yeah, it
maybe
took a long
junior
time.
In high school. So it's
Yeah, but I had a
we were
longer
pushing
run
it
than
quite
you.
a bit. Yeah, we were doing some push. In fact, I transitioned from the push to the one that is still a push mower, but it has a lever to propel the wheels, gives you a little help.
Oh yeah, that's like what I'm rocking. Well, trying to get going.
Right.
3 different options of that in the garage. But lawnmowers aren't made for my size, so like it wouldn't be bad. But I'm hunching over the entire time slightly to do it. So by the time I'm done with it, my back is just killing me.
Well, along the same point, get ready for me to talk about having a kid again, because that's pretty much all that's on my mind lately, you know?
No worry, I've brought up my dog since this podcast started.
That's true. In preparation for that, I know that I'm, like 5 years away from having to ride bikes with my family, but I'm thinking constantly about what type of bike is going to be most comfortable for me to ride. And I know ultimately it's a 3-wheeler lean backer, but I can't do that.
So you can't do that.
Yeah. So I want to have the highest handlebars I can so I don't have to hunch over and still look, respectable.
I mean, unless you go the other way, because I feel like if you had a racing bike where the whole point is to lean over and just, like lean on your elbows, I could see that being a good option, but you're going to be stuck in that position. You're going to be stuck in that position the whole time. So you don't have to
Why would I want to be hunched over?
So you don't have to support your core. So you can just lean on your elbows and ride your bike,
Yeah, but then I'll be like all hunched.
Yeah, fast, aerodynamic. Yeah, real fast.
Or just, I don't think so. I will say this, as a kid, you'd get in like races with people on bikes, when you were riding bikes around town. I didn't know forever that road tires were a thing, and you can go way faster in comparison to like mountain bike. Yeah.
What we always had. Well,
I just thought Brian Bradley was the fastest person in the world. Turns out he just had like a road bike.
Yeah, but those aren't cool when you're younger. You want the extreme bike for like, extreme situations, like all those times we were going down mountains.
Yeah, didn't use it off-road too much. In fact, I didn't even like to ride in grass because of the struggle, I'd rather walk a bike
100%.
on grass.
Well, I will say at least it made a little more sense. We did just grow up out in the country. It was it was nothing but a gravel road and then a lot of grass. Because of that, I've never been a very strong bike rider. I have balance, but I don't know. I lack the confidence. I didn't do it enough growing up.
I've lived in Chicago for like 12 years. I've ridden a bike once, and I decided then and there, not for me. I'm not a city rider, and I'm not going to be. And I barely did any city riding. I just got it on the lake shore.
I've done that one a few times. I've done divvy bike quite a few times, but I do agree with you.
It's too
fun.
busy.
Well, yeah, it's just a little too nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm always worried I'm going to get clipped by someone not paying attention.
And you know what people do? They get clipped all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And then die. There's so many people. It's sad.
Everyone I've known who's been a bike rider in Chicago, they've gotten hit at least once since I've known them. It's usually been a tap and they're fine, but they always get hit eventually. It just has to happen. Statistically, odds are against them.
It took me a while when I moved to Chicago, started driving, to look for people when you open the door on a side street or a main street to make sure no bikers coming. It took me a lot of close calls where we're like, I got to start looking to make sure nobody's coming.
And just getting into a turning lane initially when I moved to the city, just something I didn't think about. Just kind of, because there should be no one behind me, park cars, just veer over. But nope, you got to have your head in a swivel.
Yeah, so if I move to a more suburban or rural area, maybe I'll get back to the riding bikes, but not in the city. I can't believe how many parents just have them in a trailer or will put them in one of those seats in front of their bikes and just ride through traffic. I'm like, you guys,
it's terrifying.
You could fall. I get it.
Same as you. Anytime I did do it in the city, it was something like a bike path, like a trail, or like lakeshore where there's no cars, or just super. Well, I did this actually a lot in Nicole before we moved out of the suburbs. Just our area was very residential, and it was very suburby streets just for some stretches. So we would just zigzag through all the residential area, blocks, and then cross one really busy intersection. I'd be terrified, even though that's how most people get around and live their life, commuting. And I'd go back to this, slow part.
No, I'm not doing that. You want to hear another thing I'm contemplating now with the start of a family? I've got to create myself a hobby that I can do so I can get away from my family.
Get into woodworking for my sake, because
that's an
saws are
at-home
expensive.
project. I got to get out of the house. Plus, I'm not handsy.
Jordan, you're in the garage. That's Dad's domain. You know what I mean? That's your own space.
Well, here's my problem with most of these hobbies. Why do I have to pretend that all I'm doing is getting away from you and drinking somewhere? Can't my hobby just be drinking?
I was about to say, why not just drink in the living room? You know, don't talk to Jordan between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Okay, so I think I'm too old for intramural basketball. I'd have to get in what I ideally want. You know the big three.
See, hold up, not necessarily. I will say this: you don't want to join some league shit necessarily, because that's going to be people who do care. What you have to do is find some other people that just kind of want to play some pickup. You just have to make your own crew. You got to find that.
I ideally wanted to be 3-on-3. I think 3-on-3, not even half court, side court is pretty much where I'm at now.
You're looking for 5 people. That sounds doable.
Megs and I went on a long walk because it was finally nice or it wasn't even nice on Saturday. It was chilly, but we went on a walk, right? Mm-hmm. And we sat down to take a little break because Megan was getting tired, and we almost watched a Quidditch game. never ended up happening, but we saw one team stretch for 40 minutes, and then the other team just showed up, and we're like, we got to get out of here.
Are you saying like literally it was a Quidditch game about to happen and you just bailed before they got ready? Like,
no, it was 100% a Quidditch game. They set up the rings, they were running with sticks between their legs, which is just dumb. I think Quidditch would be a fun intramural sport, but just get those fucking broomsticks out of here. It hurts.
That doesn't make sense. It's already fun that we're doing it. So just run around and throw the balls.
I don't know how it ended up doing this, but I watched that. But then I watched some like middle schoolers or high schoolers doing football drills. I'm like, Megan, look at these guys bend slightly when they cut. I don't bend my knees anymore, I think, to like crouch in athletic position. So that's why I think I'm out of any recreational sport. Okay. I can't.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was just like, when you kind of just hop upstairs, like maybe a little bound. I took one and I'm like, I think if I would have applied a little more pressure, my knee would have exploded.
I'm
just going up the stairs lightly. I have not been stretching recently. I'm very stiff. I'm brittle. I will break. Go on though. New hobbies.
It seems like the best one, and I live across the street from a bowling alley in Irvine.
Ooh, that would be cool.
That'd be the funniest. You move a little. You got a crew. You get better at bowling because I assume if you bowl a lot, you're gonna get better.
Beer and just other stadium snacks. Yeah,
I think that's probably the best.
I could get into. I mean, if you're gonna be moving, but I mean, like I could get into some sort of bowling league. There is a new bowling alley. Well, old, like next to Mark, our band practice spot.
Oh, really?
Avondale Bowl, but it's like retro 50s. They restored an old bowling alley, and it's all like vintage shit in there. And it's like keep your own score on it. Like nothing.
Oh, I need electric scores.
Yeah, but it's like an old 50s, 60s looking bowling alley.
That's cool. That's
vintage.
Fun.
So we haven't gone in there, but we are planning a little band bonding getaway.
Hey, I know I'm not in the band, but let me come to that.
Yeah, come on over.
I can bowl. Let me know. Also,
I can't bowl. That's one of those things.
Well, I'm not good at bowling, but I mean, who can't bowl? I have an arm. I have thumbs. I have legs.
I'm a little uncoordinated at it. We've been over this before, maybe not on this podcast, but I was athletic. But there are just some like easy, I don't know, bar sport kind of things that like I just don't do well. Darts, like bowling.
There's 2 recreational sports I blow at, and I never want to play. Pool, because we didn't have a pool table growing up, so I get my ass kicked, and ping pong. Most people are just way better at ping pong than me. So I'm like, I don't even like it. I can volley, but I'm ultimately going to get beat by somebody that played ping pong.
We did have a table tennis section of PE, like I don't know if most people did. So there was always like a portion of a year where I'd get really good at it. Well, not really good. I'd be okay at it for a month. But the problem is, so would half the school.
So you're a hobby guy.
Oh, 100%.
Or at least a hobby starter, not like a follow-through hobby guy. What would you do?
I keep up with a lot. What would I do? I mean, I did.
What's your goal? I know we failed at some whittling, but that was some failed. You started it.
I wouldn't say failed. I did make one project. It honestly though, it wasn't for me. I thought I would enjoy it more. I do enjoy.
That was a quarantine hobby though, right?
Yeah,
stuck inside.
100%. I do enjoy building things though. So I think more than like whittling and shit, I want to. If anything, I do want to get into woodworking at some point.
I know this like. And this isn't to insult people that make tables, but it seems like if you get into table making, somebody will buy it eventually. Yeah,
that's true. It would just take a lot of.
So there's a lot of skills. There's a lot of skills I would love to have if I could download them to my brain. Okay, I don't want to learn how. Yeah, if it was the Matrix, sure, I'd love to. I've thought about this. Like, I'm not going to spend the time to learn another language.
He doesn't say karate. I can't remember what he says. I knew jujitsu. Oh,
I think it's jujitsu. That feels right. Let us know or don't let us know. Another thing, I'm inherently lazy and I don't like to learn things. So that's tough. That's why I think I have to have like a hobby that I already have the skill set for. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is something that doesn't get you away from the house again, but like learning a new language, that could just be something to do on the side. But again, you don't like learning. That's just
sounds like
all
homework.
That hobby is.
I'd love to learn. I mean, the same with an instrument. I don't have the drive to learn an instrument of my own.
You could maybe take a little bit of that with something you already like. Try to get into foreign movies. You'd have to read subtitles, but if you stick to like,
I'm solid on movies. I consider like not a hobby, you know, but I can't just leave my family to watch a movie alone.
You could be like Ben from Parks and Recreation and try to make claymation.
Stand in the place where you... Is it that one?
Yeah, where it's like 3 seconds.
I did say this earlier. Do I have the skill set or want to learn how to build miniatures and like train sets? I don't have that, but I love looking at them.
I was thinking
Plus, you got to have an unfinished basement, I think.
I've had to do a little wiring, and I do have a soldering kit, but I did think about getting just like meant for teenagers and kids, like a little learn to solder kit and like learn to do some simple like micro board, like chip kind of shit, just to, I don't know, feel better about myself.
I not even sneaky. I hope my kid, or if I get lucky to have a few, I hope one of them gets crazy into like telescopes and
engineering and just science and
oh no, I don't care. I mean, I hope they do whatever they want to do, but what I'm saying is I hope they get into looking at stars and we're like, we can get a really expensive telescope and we're gonna go all in on this.
That'd be funny, but that's something you can do now. You could just get into just looking at stars and drinking outside. I mean, that gets you outside of the house.
I think there needs to be some social aspect to it.
Yeah, bring a friend. Find someone else who's really into it. Easy as that, baby. You can make a scene anywhere. You just got to find one other asshole that's into it.
It also, it seems like it has to be a hobby I couldn't easily do with my family.
Okay.
Like, we could look at stars. That seems just ignorant. Plus, you should share those new experiences.
Can't trust your child with a soldering gun. You know, that's something you can get into. I'm gonna learn how to wire things. Here's where this is coming from, though. I keep watching all these like sci-fi movies where it seems so easy for these people to quickly engineer just like, I don't know, just a bunch of different electronics. I'm like, I wouldn't know where to begin. Like, oh, the elevator's broken and we need to get up in this sci-fi movie. Looks like we're dead down here.
Let's paint a picture of what it would really go like. Think about the Burbs when they try to cut off the power.
Yeah, exactly.
And they melt Ray. That's what's going to, or they melt Art. That's what's going to end up happening. Who got melted? I can't even think of the name.
It's Art. Yeah,
it's Art, right?
Because anytime someone fucks up,
I fucked it up.
It gets my brain going.
But
I know it's unrealistic, but just because I've been watching so much sci-fi stuff, I feel like I need to know a little engineering and just some science. And I don't know. I've said this a million times, but God, I wish I would have taken chemistry instead of physics in high school. I wish I had some basics.
I'm gonna fill you in on this. Mm-hmm. If you took chemistry rather than physics, you would have gotten an A or a B and know nothing about it, just like taking physics.
Okay.
But we didn't have like the strongest science department, I don't think.
No, I mean, also just I was into science when I was like.
I know this much though. I know this much about hobbies. If you see XYZ starting to chop a lot of wood, it's only moments before they're chopping their family off. That is red card 101.
Unless you get into off-grid building kind of stuff, you know, then it's to survive. You could be a survivalist. You've been watching Naked and Afraid. I mean, did you learn any lessons from that? I'm not saying
I could survive for 21 days by just laying there and hoping I don't get dysentery from drinking water.
Well, I was thinking,
am I going to survive? Absolutely not.
I was thinking a little more low scale, like you could be a YouTube survivalist where you're just teaching us how to make fire in your backyard, but you make it look a little more rugged kind of vibe.
Yeah, but what you're not... so that's one thing, but then I have to edit YouTube videos, and your real
not
hobby
necessarily. I didn't say you were good at it, Jordan. I just said it's your hobby and it's what you do.
Ultimately, I think I've gotten to the age where I like to play pickup basketball, but I'm almost getting too old for it. I'd have to get in shape just to play shitty basketball.
You're not too old for it. You're just too old to give it your all now. You're
there to
have fun now. You're there to have fun. You're not there to push anything.
No, but to have fun, I think you have to be at like a base level competitiveness. Otherwise, you're not doing anything. So dribbling, Jesus Christ, I don't know if I can dribble anymore.
I never could.
Yeah, I would just be shooting threes and playing no defense, which is kind of like the NBA.
And the Cameron Jones game.
Anyway, that's it. I've just been thinking about hobbies. Here's what I'm jealous of back home. We know like a lot of people that hunt, and it's such a selfish thing. It's like, oh, you just want to leave your family every weekend for like the next 2 months and just sit in the, I don't know what the fuck they do, but they just sit and they wait for something to shoot, and they pass up a lot of things, not because they didn't get the right thing they want to kill, but because I think they don't want to be with their families. They just want an excuse to get out of the house.
I think there's a portion of, I mean, isn't that the whole point of you right now looking for a hobby?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm just saying hunters got to figure it out.
Racing, horseback riding, that's all money. Everything is kind of expensive is the problem. And anything that's not is something you can do with your family. So
the real hobby I've gotten into in the pandemic time is I go on walks now. I walk a lot. That's the biggest thing that's changed with COVID. Because there wasn't anywhere to go in Chicago for 6 months pretty much. All of one summer and then into winter kind of. So I just walked around a lot. So I got into that, but that's not a hobby.
I'm reluctantly into that just because of the dog now, but thank God for that dog park at the end of the street and I can just let him do his thing and stand in one spot looking sullen.
So I've never had a dog. Do you have to talk to other dog people at the dog park? Dog owners?
I've never run into a person at this dog park. I mean, we're in the suburbs. Most people have just a fenced backyard, so like they don't want to deal with that shit.
That's true.
We just haven't fenced in the backyard yet, so I have to deal with that shit. So every day I walk down the same strip, past the same dogs that bark at my dog. He goes crazy. Then I get him over there.
He seems like, based off, I do want to say, when I came to your place like last week sometime or within a week, and he chilled with me all day. That was refreshing because your cats just aren't social.
Yeah, but they're getting that more so just because they've been neglected out of fear of the dog, like to the point where they're laying on me when his head's on my lap kind of thing, and they're like, fuck it.
Oh, good, a little competition.
Yeah, they're going for it now. I was kind of thinking about this earlier. If you could have like a safe wild animal as a domesticated pet, what would you have?
An otter. But I've researched it. Don't get an otter.
Yeah, well, that's why I said if it wouldn't kill you or ruin your house.
So I would say an otter or a fox. They both seem playful and nice.
Hold time out. Foxes you can get. I think I've told you about this though, but
yeah, you have. But I still don't think you should have any wild animal as your pet.
Crazy if you haven't heard this. Like I think it's back in the '60s. There was a Russian experiment to see how long it would take to domesticate foxes. It only took like 10 generations, I think, of breeding before like their ears like dropped.
So like 20 years?
Yeah, like it didn't take long before they physically changed. Their snouts got smaller. Their ears drooped because they didn't need to hear and listen as well. And they were just super docile. From what I understand,
so they're just a weird, cool dog?
Yeah, well, from what I hear, it's like a mixture between a cat and a dog in personality.
I mean, I think ideally, and many celebrities have tried this, most famously Michael Jackson and Justin Bieber, but everybody thinks maybe I could just hang out with a monkey. Or
I had that when I was younger where I wanted a pet monkey, but I mean, it's probably just the knowledge that they rip faces off and chew fingers, but it's been a long, there's no need for me to
You're saying we're taking out though that they're gonna attack.
Oh yeah, 100% that's gone. Yeah. But even so, I don't think I want something too close to human being. I want something a little dopey and fun to be my friend,
Okay, hear me out on this. And I'm not going to get eaten, trampled, or stomped or anything?
Nope.
Elephants seem pretty chill then.
Oh, and really smart. Did you know that they have religious ceremonies that they base off the moon?
I know that people told us that they do that, but how in God's green earth would you understand that that's what they're doing?
Well, I don't know if it is religion, but apparently they do have different rituals waving sticks at the moon on different phases.
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't believe it. Okay, let me paint you a picture when it comes to animal and wildlife documentaries. Mm-hmm. They narrate it and they create a story with footage they've shot, right? Mm-hmm. They do the exact same thing with inside the NFL or what's it called? Hard Knocks. Yep. They will make a team that's about to go 2-12 seem like they're about to win the Super Bowl. Just like,
yeah. I mean, you need to build the drama.
Yeah, if you have a narrator telling you how to feel and what to think, yeah, you can make me believe anything. But do I believe that elephants... What would you say? Like
practice religion?
I don't, but maybe they do. I don't know. What do you think?
Who knows what it is? But they are very smart. They do have rituals and social customs. So I mean, they are very sentient and smart.
As far as wild animals that hang around humans or get forced to, they seem as big as they are mild mannered and gentle.
I agree.
So if we could take out the stompy stomp, That'd be the way to go.
Oh, speaking of wild animals and intervention, this was kind of crazy. So there was, what do you call just a pack of bunnies? I don't know. There was a pack of bunnies that burrowed into one of our potted plants in our backyard. Never saw the mom. Well, a nest. That's what I'm looking for. There was a nest of bunnies. Nicole and I didn't want to interfere, but it had been raining, like, I don't know, from their existence up until yesterday. But we looked in there and it seemed pretty sad. They were all huddled and it had been raining on them for a day. So we finally intervened and we just threw a towel over the pot. Happy to report, like 2-3 days later, took the towel off. All the bunnies like left the pot and were hopping around. I think they're full grown now, and we helped raise them.
Did you feed them? Did you think about feeding them?
No, I was pretty adamant, more so than Nicole. I was like, we really shouldn't touch these. I don't know if this is like birds or cats, and if you touch it, the mom will leave. But I think in most wildlife, just don't touch it. But
I don't think you should feed it. I agree.
But the last day, Nicole did pick one up and move it around. But at that point, I mean, I don't think their mom wasn't coming. They're adults. They're by that point, essentially.
Did they actually grow? I saw some of the pictures when they were really small.
Yeah, they were hopping out of our backyard, and just like yesterday when I was doing yard work, there were like 7 bunnies literally hopping all around our backyard. It's crazy.
So you may or may not remember this, but Megs and I were going for a walk, I think last spring, and we were on Ravenswood, and we started seeing a lot of rabbits. And it kind of felt like a Jordan Peele movie or like Twilight Zone-y. And I'm like, Megan, how many rabbits do we have to see before we should start being concerned that we're about to get murdered by rabbits? I think we called you and be like, Cameron, just to let you know, we've seen 12 rabbits. And if we disappear, we're probably getting just, get out of the city or something.
Back to our domesticated animal question. Raccoons seem like they'd be fun friends. I have heard that they are mischievous. They get into shit, but it's because they have hands. They can work stuff, and they have hands. They can work things.
They seem otter-like mischievous. I think, again, people have tried to domesticate them, but you don't.
I have seen many TikToks and videos of them in houses, but I've also seen videos of them getting hissy and weird ratty, and I don't want that.
So why have neither of us been like a tiger, a bear, or a lion?
Well, actually, because I was saving that for this one. As far as like dangerous animals, I think I'd want a bear. Because one, they just do seem dumb and fun in like videos we do get to see of them, but we just know that they're dangerous and they can turn on a second and just rip your face off. But wouldn't that seem like just a good, like, it's not like an indoor pet for sure, but if I just had like, I don't know, a barn and there was like a bear that lived on property and was my friend, that'd be cool.
Well, I think what you're referencing is we've seen that one documentary where that guy lived with bears, Grizzly Man or whatever.
Sure.
They seem to have a lapdog quality about them before they maul and murder you.
Yeah, there is something that just seems kind of fun and friendly and dopey, like, doggish about their faces.
They do seem dog-like. I myself, obviously, am a huge fan of Dances with Wolves, the epic Kevin Costner movie.
It only comes up every single podcast we do.
I don't think it does. I don't bring it up that much. I like the movie. I liked it, and I don't even think that's a white hero movie, although I'm sure it is.
Pretty sure it is.
What about a wolf?
That'd be cool. Well, here's the thing. I stuck away from big cat and wolves just because, like, I have a dog, I have cats. I already have those personalities on a small scale. The only thing that would change is picking up more shit and feeding it more, really. I mean, if we're taking out the danger factor, from what I've seen.
I assume I don't have to feed these. I assume they're still, like, they can go fend for themselves.
Okay, sure. We can go that route of it. Well, then it's still...
Ooh, you know what kind of seems a little fun? Just popped up. Sorry to interrupt you. What about a sloth? That kind of seems fun to hang around with.
I have seen some adorable videos of sloth friends. I could see where you're coming from that. Anything like a weasel or a ferret spark your interest?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Those gross me out.
I mean, those can't believe people just real pets, though. That's not exotic.
To me, if you have a ferret, and this is no insult to you, but that's 100% red flag. And I don't know in what degree, but I don't like that you have a ferret. And I don't want to hold it, and I don't want to see it.
I did want to get a pet rat when I was younger, but that was 100% because of Harry Potter and because we had a teacher that sold rats in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
If not for the connection, I would not be as interested, and I would not have pestered Mom so much about it. But thank God for her. She was like, no.
I'm not an elitist, but again, to trace it back, to make it about me, I'm going to have this kid. I ain't doing rodents. I'm not doing rabbits. I'm not doing gerbils. I'm not doing guinea pigs. You know why? Because they don't make good pets. If you want to get bit every once in a while and then have something shit everywhere and not like to be pet, get a rodent.
If you had to have a bird as a pet, what kind of bird? We can still go exotic here, any kind of bird.
Any kind of bird?
I mean, off the bat, like penguin just seems kind of fun. That seems kind of the same dopey
yeah.
best friend route. But let's say it has to be a bird of flight.
Penguins, even though we know they're not mammals, they're the most mammal-like.
Yeah, I mean...
They seem less like birds and more like
They seem to have... They have personalities. It's just an animal that we know that has personality. Maybe it's because March of the Penguins and we know the whole pebble thing means they mate for life, and that's adorable.
So I've never thought about this, and I know very little about bird species, but... Let's just put it to size. I'm going to want like a nice mid-sized bird with some heft to it.
Sure.
Not too big where it's a problem, but not too small where it's like, what's even the point?
I mean, I imagine you're thinking like falcon, like eagle.
Falcon, hawk, eagle, even though I think those are huge birds.
Yeah. Okay, if you have to choose between the three, because those do seem like the cool one, it seems like falcons are already very trainable. Seems like there's somewhere to go there.
Yeah, probably a... Yeah, I'm not arrogant enough to do a bald eagle. I don't want to be like America and all that shit. So yeah, probably like a falcon.
For more information on that, see oh shit, why can't I think of what it's called? Peacemaker. he has a pet eagle named Eagly.
What is Peacemaker?
It's the show with John Cena.
Oh yeah,
that I've brought up like almost as much as you bring up Dances with Wolves in the past month.
In the past month, I don't think I have, and you guys can go to the tapes, but I can tell you which one's better.
Okay, fair. On our animal topic, though, I was kind of curious. I was thinking about this. What do you think what animal has the most attacks in the U.S., do you think? And this is a list I have of the last century, a list of the most animal attacks in the U.S. that caused fatality.
You mean animals attacking humans?
Yes, to a kill. What animal do you think has the most kills?
Are we counting reptiles?
Yeah, we're just in the United States, but we're counting any animal.
Fatal attacks.
I think it's a little more... You'll piece it together, I think, better than you think.
I think alligators have to be up there. Because people go into swamps.
It's on the list. Yep, it's on the list.
I don't know about... number one, what would you run into? Moose? I hear moose fuck people up all the time.
We actually have deer and moose as a separate thing as car crashes. They didn't give me a number on that one because that's like, this is the last 50 years of, I mean, car accidents of deer. I mean, there's that number would blow these ones out. These are attacks. These are more so than,
I heard the people like go hiking.
Oh, moose are very hostile. Yes.
Yeah, I heard they like fuck people up and kill them more than like bears even sometimes.
No, right. They actually are very hostile. But
so that's why I guess.
But this list is sticking more towards like actual attacks more so than like
bears got to be
brown bears number one. In the past 50 years, there's been 70 people killed recorded by brown bears. So now that bears are off the list, okay, I'm gonna take this off. We have 3 different bears on here.
Okay, there you go.
I'll say brown bear's number 1 at 70 kills in the last 50 years. Black bear's number 4 at 54 kills. And the polar bear's at 10 kills. And that's like number 8.
Here's this. It was your fault that you were close to where bears are. Now, I know brown bears and black bears are more common, but if you found a polar bear... You were in their neck of the woods.
Yeah, that one's
like way more than anything else.
Okay, so we've taken bears off the table. So what else do you think could be a likely animal? You did say alligator. That's actually number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list.
I figure alligator would have to be. I don't.
Alligator has 33 kills in the last 50 years.
Sharks have to be up there just because there are shark attacks somewhere on the list.
That's number 2, 57. The number 2 killer animal in the United States, apparently.
I mean, that makes sense. It's just where because how often, I think people are probably in the ocean more than they are around where bears are.
I don't know about that.
Think about that. Think how many people vacation, think how many people surf versus actually going to hike where bears are.
Right. We live in the same environment as bears, though. I mean, like I'd say there's much more likely.
There's so much more coastline, though, than I would think there are where you're actually where bears are habitable.
Yeah, maybe
I'm wrong, but anyway, the numbers say what they say, Cameron. They say sharks are number 2.
Just to throw out the other main contender, snakes at 57.
That's number 1?
That's number 3.
I was going to say snakes.
So the list in order goes brown bear 70, shark 57, snake 57, black bear 54, alligator 33, cougar 16, didn't mention that one, polar bear 10, and wolf just 2 kills in the last 50 years. But we've also pretty much dwindled their population, I think, to nothing, so...
Well, and on top of that, chances are they got killed by what sounds like a bear first.
Well, yeah.
I mean, where there's wolves, there's bear. Cougars, I was going to throw out there. So, yeah, pretty much the only predators that live
in the United States. Yeah, that makes sense. Just also on the list, though, we have other dangerous animals, coyotes, ticks due to transmission. A lot of people get it from that. Jellyfish, bees, hornets, and wasp are the most, also on our list of most dangerous.
Right, because people are allergic.
Yeah, allergies and things.
I think after a certain size predatorial dog or something like a coyote, there may be a chance that you could fight that off because they're not as big. I'm sure it'd be hard. I'm sure they kill. But you know what I mean? Like there's a certain size predatorial animal that you're like, oh, I'm big enough to ward it off.
I've often thought about that. I've watched movies before. I'm like, oh, I'm sure I could stomp a wolf to death. And then I think you brought this up, or maybe it was Amanda. Someone in the family I was just talking to recently was like, then you see a picture of a wolf and you're like, oh yeah, they're like really big.
Oh yeah, I think wolves are huge.
Oh, did I tell you that
Do you want to know the ignorant thing about me? Real quick, last thing before we go to parties about bears and things. In the wild, I think I'm more like, let's just chill and I'll try to pet it into a submission. And that's how I'll die.
And that's when it grabs your hand and starts whipping you around and everybody else runs as you're screaming, it's not friendly kind of vibe.
Okay, anyway, you were about to
I was just going to say, I went to a party like 2 weekends ago where there was an 180-pound dog.
I don't know. How big is your dog? I need reference.
My dog, it's a standard poodle. It's like a large-sized dog, is 60 pounds.
So it's like
more
than double.
It was literally
triple it.
Like it standing on all fours, like came up like to my midsection. It was
yours
so
is
tall.
60, 120. It's 3 times the size of your dog in weight.
It was very 6, 12. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it is.
Jesus Christ.
It was an Alaskan Malamute, I think it was what it was called. So it was giant on top of it, but it was also just like shaggy. So it was
what does Hagrid have? The groundskeeper.
Bloodhound.
And that's fictitious. That's a real dog.
Yeah, that's a real dog.
What'd you think about this dog? It
was very. It was a friendly dog. It was a sociable guy. It clearly had been around to parties before and large social gatherings. But the only downside
it was like taking cake stands and like puking and rallying and stuff.
Nah, it was just walking up to groups of people because everyone was like, "Holy shit! Look at this dog! Let me touch this dog!" So it was having the time of its life. The only downside is it laid down and it would like literally take up like 50% of the floor. Like you couldn't get around it just because it took up the whole room.
In my head, and this is no insult if you have a gigantic, unrealistic dog like that, but the only people that should have them are giants like Shaquille O'Neal and stuff like that. It should be comparable to the size of the human. Otherwise, what are you doing with a dog that big?
Yeah, I agree. And
I mean, I'm glad they have life, but like, how do you have the room for that? I assume you were in the suburbs or the city somewhere.
Yeah, suburbs, so house, so it had plenty of space. But
plenty.
Well,
plenty.
I mean, again, that thing would need a barn or a shop to live in to have like ample amount of space.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's almost mean to have it. Not like mean to the dog. I'm sure it has a good life, but ignorant to have it in this small of a space.
But it was very friendly, and it did make me feel better about my dog situation. Once again, just the pile of shit that they must pick up after that thing. I mean, that thing weighs as much as me, pretty much. I mean, it's 20 pounds lighter.
Again, I don't even know how big dog shit, but I suppose you'd say that's a lot.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine quite a bit.
Ah, cool. To quote Jeff Goldblum's character.
That's what I was going to do from Jurassic Park.
That's one big pile of shit.
But I was about to say, that's a lot of shit. I'm like, that's not right.
I think it's like, that's one large pile of shit or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know. Oh, before we get to the end, let me know what hobbies you think I should do based off of not knowing my personality at all. Only what you know from...
Cost effective and a couple hours away from the family, I think, are the criteria you're looking for.
And I don't think it can just be going to watch movies.
No, because
although I'd argue that that's probably cheaper than hunting.
You can get into making movies, and if you don't want the family around, you can get into making porn.
I think you could probably not have them around making movies.
Yeah,
but I'm not. Sure. I don't think I'm good at that. I don't know, and I don't consider this podcast a hobby. Although this will take time away from him, I believe.
Well, it's sure something. Also, just back to that party, I had one of the best Rice Krispie treats of my life. I did talk to you about this at one point, and I mistakenly referred...
You told me it was a s'more, and then you went to go on to explain what was not a s'more. Okay. I'm like, yeah, that sounds a little busy for my s'mores.
What I meant to describe was a s'more Rice Krispie treat. So it was the structure of a Rice Krispie treat, but it was meant to be a s'more. So like it still had pieces of Rice Krispie treat as like the base, but it had golden grams to work as the graham cracker, the cereal, which was a little sweeter and kind of nice. And I'm not even sure what else because it was like
what was the base of it? Was it golden grams Or was it still have
no,
Rice
it was Rice Krispie treat, but like chunks of Golden Grams, chunks of marshmallow, and chunks of like melted chocolate. It wasn't chocolate chips. It was like pretty smooth chocolate still. But then like you bite into like fluffy pieces of like just big pieces of marshmallow, and it sounds unappealing somewhat, but it was really good.
Sounds really, really good.
Which got me thinking though, what are some of your favorite kind of baked goods along that sort of thing, like blondies, lemon bars, Rice Krispie treats, brownies? Where do you go?
I mean, as far as those goes, I think brownies, a clear classic winner for myself. Give me some edges. That's great. But I have grown to enjoy lemon bars quite a bit more than I did when I was a kid.
I don't like or hate them. I mean, when they're around, sure, but I don't seek them out. My fiance really likes lemon bars too, so lemon cake actually, and lots of different like lemon meringue and key lime.
Oh, I'm not into that.
Key lime cake
that's
kind of
too
things.
much for me.
I can get into that when it has the graham cracker crumbles, especially too.
What's that bar that's kind of like
Okay, so
it's got chocolate on the top and it's Rice Krispie kind of on the bottom, but like peanut buttery Rice Krispie. What are those called?
Oh yes,
I love those. They're not snickerdoodles, but they feel like
I think there's butterscotch Rice Krispie treats.
Let us know, but those are great. Those are, I feel like, a Midwest.
Oh yeah,
delicacy.
They do. What is their name? They do have a name. It'll come to me later. Yeah, but it's
Would
like.
you like me to yell at my wife?
Maybe,
and ask
but it's
her?
like that butterscotchy Rice Krispie treat with the chocolate on top. Yeah, that's really good. So,
but it's peanut buttery too. It's a little more dense than a Rice Krispie, right?
Yeah, it is.
I like that one.
So I've heard these called many different things, and they have different ingredients, but like dream bars or like caramel bars, where it's like sometimes coconut, but it's essentially a caramely, blondie, butterscotchy brownie. Usually, honestly, better with coconut, in my opinion, but it's like a mixture kind of all the above. We have them at the bakery. We call them dream bars, I think.
I don't remember those.
Or maybe
I'm not the biggest coconut fan.
I'm blending at Potbelly. We had dream bars, and that's what they were called. I don't know what we called them at the bakery, but it was essentially the same thing, but slightly different.
Do you want to know what Sneaky Rising like? This isn't exactly a bar, but Mom started making these at Passover. You haven't been back when she's been making them, but it's
the candied matzah.
Yeah, it's a matzo cracker with like caramel and then chocolate, and it kind of gets toffee-y.
Yeah, it gets
it's pretty awesome.
No, it gets like a toffee peanut buttery peanut brittle kind of consistency.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's actually pretty good. And for someone who constantly hates on our culture's food, Jew food isn't the best.
I think there are ways to there's some gross Jew food, but there's like a lot of really good.
Okay, we have delis, which is good. We have sandwichy kind of things. Like,
we have our brisket.
We have challah.
That's really good. Challah's good. You know, it's just there's some gross Eastern European things. Like obviously gefilte fish is gross, but there's like some really good Jewish, Jewish American or Eastern European
jazz up matzo crackers. Though there's the matzo pizzas. You got your candied matzo like that.
The candy matzo is the best thing. Most of the time I get annoyed. It's like, guys, it's matzah.
Do you want to have been craving recently? Just like a French bread pizza. And if you've never done that, I mean, it's what it sounds like. You just cut French bread in half, put some like, pasta sauce on it, melt some cheese, bada bing, bada boom. You got a bread pizza.
I'm just into the bread,
Well, that's why I'm trying. Yeah.
How about just some garlic bread? That sounds great too.
Well, unfortunately, once again, I have a wheat what's the word? Wheat intolerance and rye. So I love bread, and the only ones I can get suck, or they're very. I've tried gluten-free breads, but it's not the same. It's just not.
Can you have potato bread?
Funny enough, I actually have a slight intolerance to like just regular white golden potatoes. Not it's like
cool.
It's very low on my list, but it made the list. So cauliflower pizzas are pretty good though. Like alternative crusts aren't bad. I don't mind them. It's just they're usually thin, and I can usually eat those in a sitting and not feel too full.
What's and this is only like frozen pizza I'm talking about. Sneaky good is broccoli crust.
Oh yeah, any of those like cauliflower, broccoli, they all work for me because it's like kind of like it's not like a candied crunch, but it's the same thing where it just gets like a weirdly crispier, but it has like a
sweeter. It's a little sweeter taste.
Yeah, it just has a different like.
Megs and I actually for our frozen pizzas we pretty much only do cauliflower and broccoli now. I don't know why we made the switch, but it's good. I do like those.
No, I'm actually a pretty big fan of those, and again, especially because I can't do the dough anymore. But it's usually only good if you can get it in a flash bake oven from when I've had it. But I have had a really good restaurant fake dough, fake cheese. It was like a nut cheese, but if you flash bake anything, it's gonna come out great.
Here's my thing about the cheese substitute. I think a pizza you can recreate the taste of a pizza enough and just do no cheese. Just do sauce and like the toppings and like basil leaves or whatever the fuck you want to do. You can recreate the pizza taste, but sometimes those cheese substitutes, they just melt weird.
That is a problem, but that's
and I don't like them. I'd rather just leave them off.
Well, nut cheeses are a little different because it did have a different kind of melt consistency than those like tofu ones and those oil-based like fake cheeses, But
whatever that Daiya brand is,
that's
just too gummy, and I don't 100%. Like
it has the weird melting thing. But again, flash baking this in like the pizza oven kind of solved all those problems because it just crisped everything no matter what. So if you're gonna do a fake thing, you make sure you just blast it.
This just I do think that one hobby I could get into, and this would actually probably be family orientated rather than leaving them. Mm-hmm. It seems like I should get good at cooking. I can cook fine. Mm-hmm. Like I make okay food.
Yeah, well, that is something that would be advantageous. One, if you can make it just money saving, costly, if you can just manage.
Without sounding weird, I feel like my personality and the way I look feels like I'm someone who can cook really well, but I'm just not.
I mean, there was a moment where you wanted to get into it, but that was like 300% because you like the egg sandwich that Adam Sandler made in the movie Spanglish. But
damn if I didn't recreate that a lot.
A couple times, yeah. You made some good egg sandwiches for a while there. For like,
I think all of us. I think you and I probably cook about the same level. Like it's fine, but
you're better than me still. There was a second there, like, I don't know, right before COVID where I was getting into it a little more just because my fiance likes to cook. We watch a lot of the Food Network. I do like food shows and cooking shows and competition shows like that, but I just have no interest myself in cooking. I enjoy eating, but part of it is just the work, like the mess afterwards, the cleanup. There's just so much more involved. But also I'm not very good. I've never been very good. I don't think I have a great palate either necessarily. I'm kind of a basic guy, so I don't think I need to be making it.
I think it might change when I move from the city, or if I do move from the city, because now it's like, why would I try to make Indian food when there's like a million great Indian restaurants I could just order from, and you're like, they've got it all. Why would I try to make Thai food when I could, so there's a little bit that convenience and laziness I've never really pushed through in the city.
True. But I mean, there's more resources than ever, at least to get into it now, just with Food Network.
Having that said, I probably won't. Just,
I mean, you're going to have to cook for more people, though. So, I mean, imagine you're going to learn at least a little and get better. So
that is one big thing that'll have to change. We'll have to get grocery. I mean, obviously, it'll be like breast milk formula and then baby food. But like eventually, we're going to have to start shopping for more than 2 people and probably have more groceries more often.
Is there anything you're looking forward to buying snack-wise, kid-related? I mean, you're probably a ways away from that kind of stuff, but that you miss from your childhood.
You mean that I can eat from them?
Yes.
Nothing nostalgic.
I mean, for some reason, I've been craving a push pop, so I can't wait till your kid gets into having a lot of popsicle kind of treats around.
I mean, I ultimately, like, I don't know if you can give kids Gushers anymore, but if you can, we're sure going to go balls deep in that.
Oh, God. I love Gushers. Where's that?
Fruit by the Foot, too.
That's in a weird category. Those three, you have Fruit by the Foot, Fruit Roll-Up, and Gushers that are their weird gelatin.
They're their own thing.
Yeah, they're not quite a taffy. They're not like a gummy. They're
not quite a gummy, but you know what they are.
But God, do I love a Gusher. I kind of
artificial fruit snacks. And don't forget, like, Scooby snacks, like the actual fruit snacks. Yeah, the actual fruit snacks,
that's kind of the same thing, yeah.
And the ones that I'm not talking about, there are gummy fruit snacks, like the Welch's ones. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the more, like, a little more solid, a little more waxy ones, which I quite enjoyed. I'm not going to get into brewing beer. I'm not going to get into anything, but maybe cooking. Maybe I could get into cooking.
If you're going to do anything like that, get into something cooler and like distill like a whiskey or a vodka. Like make something real, Everyone's doing wine. Everyone's doing beer. Granted, I think there's a large explosion factor with that from what I understand from just
kabloom, kablowie. Yeah. Excuse me.
I think that might be a problem, but
also that's probably one of my, I was referencing the Beer Baron episode from The Simpsons, probably what it is. Anyway, that's a sneaky, really good episode. Real good episode.
Funny enough, I've just been putting The Simpsons on in the background again as I'm working. Start at season 3. That's really when it gets to some good episodes. Yeah, it starts right around with the Lisa Goes to Washington, but it's just kind of when it gets more memorable for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you were pretty young, but you've had it at your disposal for a long time. I think if you go season...
I'm telling you, 3.
You can start at 2, but really it gets great at 3 through 11 is the sweet spot.
I'd say you could push past 11. I'd say it goes up to like, I don't know.
So the way I explain that is though, 3 through 11, I'd say most episodes are good, and then there's a lot of great ones in there.
That's true. But
like they're even run of the mill ones are still really solid. Oh, you know what? So I've thought about this. I'm not going to do it, but I could get into photography where I take pretty good pictures, but it just seems like a lot of hassle and work to make that your thing. I mean, your hobby.
That's the whole point, Jordan. All of it is to be just finding the work and hassle that you enjoy enough to leave the house and get away from your family. That's the whole point, man.
I think I'm just going to be, Dad's going for a drive. Don't bother him. I don't think I got I don't get the desire to.
Horse track.
You mean just a degenerate gambler?
Yeah.
Here's the thing is, I don't even like gambling that much. The only reason I'd want to go to watch horses is to hang out with like you, wear a straw hat and smoke a cigar.
So just do that and don't place any bets. Just go there. Watch
horse
the race.
racing.
Place the bets.
The exciting horse racing.
Place the bets up here, Jordan. It's all. This is a hobby. You know, it's no stakes in it.
Oh, I did. I forgot to text you. The Kentucky Derby was on Saturday.
Oh, I know. No, I didn't. But Mark was sending me some texts. He put some money down.
Oh, you know what would be great for me? If you and Mark got really into betting on basketball games so we could talk about the NBA playoffs.
I mean, we do. When
nobody watches.
We do when it's in season. It's just, I do better at NFL gambling, so I try to stay out of NBA. But Mark does. He dabbles.
Yeah, they dabble. But I'm saying is I'd like you to watch the playoffs just so I could talk to me.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
I just want to talk about the playoffs. It's really good playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I mean, like LeBron's out and whatever. It's dumb. You're not going to want to talk about this. But anyway, anytime I run into somebody who's a fan of the NBA, like if we go out with like Megan's friends and something, it's somebody actually likes the NBA, I might go a little too hard in the paint to want to talk about the NBA. Because a lot of people don't watch it. I don't watch the NFL really anymore, as you know.
I mean, I just don't really watch that many sports anymore unless I'm at Mark's, kind of. Mark's my access to sports right now.
I'm only a fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes and then the NBA in general because I like basketball still.
Yeah, and I lean more NFL still, but I have stints where I want to get into Ultimate Fighting, not myself, but just watching it. Because, I mean, I got into kickboxing for a while, like really into it, just because there was a channel that was constantly airing old fights.
It's called Spike TV.
No, it was like on Pluto TV. They just had like a fight channel. So I just was watching boxing and kickboxing for a couple months there.
I'm not saying that I couldn't get into it, but I'm not really a combative sport person. I don't enjoy it that well. Plus, I have no really general knowledge of what they do.
That's the problem. I mean, you figure it out though. You watch, you learn. I didn't know the rules to hockey till I got into the Blackhawks when they were winning. You know, you figure it out.
That's true. What else you got?
That's about it for this week. We're coming up on an hour here. But thanks for listening to Urban Hermit and all of the podcasts on the Majestic Jam Network. If you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And if you want to help out the station, you can go to patreon.com/cultclassicspod for premium content. Thanks for listening, everybody. Check you next time.
Bye.